Alright, quick update from the artificial intelligence trenches, but in plain developer speak. OpenAI just dropped GPT-5 Codex, a next-level coding partner that is already changing how developers build. At the same time, it proved its skills by beating humans and Google at the world's top programming contest, and Microsoft's massive new $150 billion stake shows just how high the stakes are. OpenAI just rolled out GPT-5 Codex, their GPT-5 variant tuned specifically for agentic coding in Codex, and it is already the default for cloud tasks and code review. You can opt into it locally through the Codex command line interface and the Integrated Development Environment extension. Codex itself has been consolidating fast. Command line interface launched in April, web in May, and 2 weeks ago they unified everything under your ChatGPT account so you can bounce between local and cloud without losing context. It runs where you actually build, terminal or integrated development environment, on the web, inside GitHub, even the ChatGPT iOS app. If you want to try it locally, the quick start path is literally $npm at OpenAI/Codex. What is different with GPT-5 Codex? It is trained on real messy engineering tasks, greenfield projects, feature work, tests, debugging, big refactors, code reviews. It is more steerable, follows agents.md style instructions better, and does not need a novel about style to produce clean code. On benchmarks, there's a nuanced story. On software engineering bench verified, now the full 500 tasks, earlier reports used 477 because some did not run on their infrastructure. GPT-5 High shows 74.5% accuracy, while GPT-5 Codex High shows 72.8%. But on their refactoring evaluation, big repository refactors across Python, Go, even OCaml, GPT-5 comes in at 33.9%, while GPT-5 Codex jumps to 51.3%. One of the example tasks is a TIA pull request that touches 232 files and 3,541 lines to thread a context variable across the application logic. That is exactly the kind of gnarly work Codex is being tuned to chew through. The runtime behavior adapts. For simple, well-scoped requests or interactive pairing, it responds snappier and uses fewer tokens. For large tasks, it digs in and keeps going. In testing, they saw it work independently for more than 7 hours straight on big jobs, iterating, fixing failing tests, and landing a pass. Internal telemetry on OpenAI employee traffic shows the token usage distribution shifting. At the 10th percentile of turns, smallest replies, GPT-5. Codex used 93.7% fewer tokens than GPT-5. At the 30th, it is negative 68.4%, 50th is negative 30.8%. Then it flips for heavier work. Positive 25.1% at the 70th and positive 102.2% at the 90th percentile. They hammered code review too. GPT-5 Codex navigates your repository, reasons through dependencies, and actually runs your code and tests to check behavior. On recent commits from popular open source projects, senior engineers graded its review comments. Incorrect comments dropped from 13.7% with GPT-5 High to 4.4% with GPT-5 Codex High. High-impact comments increased from 39.4% to 52.4%. And interestingly, it posted fewer comments per pull request on average, 1.32 down to 0.93, so less noise, more signal. At OpenAI, Codex now reviews most pull requests, catching hundreds of issues per day, often before a human even looks. Day-to-day, GPT-5 Codex is stronger at front-end tasks and mobile websites. It can look at images or screenshots you pass in the cloud environment, visually inspect its own progress, even attach screenshots of what it built to the task and to the GitHub pull request. The tool support spans the rebuilt open-source Codex command line interface with image attachments for screenshots, wireframes, diagrams, a to-do tracker for complex work, web search and model context protocol connectors, upgraded terminal user interface for tool calls and diffs, and simplified approval modes, read-only with explicit approvals, auto with full workspace access but approvals outside the workspace, and full access that can read files anywhere and run commands with network access. It also compacts conversation state so longer sessions do not bog down. In integrated development environments, Visual Studio Code, Cursor, and other Visual Studio Code forks, the extension lets you preview local changes, edit with Codex, write shorter prompts thanks to file and selection context, and move work between cloud and local seamlessly. In the cloud, they have been caching containers to cut the median completion time for new tasks and follow-ups by 90%, auto-detecting setup scripts to bootstrap environments, and with configurable internet access, it can run commands like pip install to fetch dependencies at runtime. You can hand it images for user interface specs or bug reports. It can spin up a browser, check its own output, iterate, and attach screenshots. Security posture. By default, Codex runs sandboxed with network access disabled, locally and in the cloud. It asks permission before risky actions, is trained to run commands to validate outputs, and exposes citations, terminal logs, and test results per task. You can restrict cloud network access to trusted domains, and in command line interface and integrated development environment, you can explicitly approve commands, enable web search, and connect model context protocol servers as needed. They are treating GPT-5 Codex as high capability in biological and chemical domains, with safeguards and a system card addendum. And they are clear. Use Codex reviews as an additional reviewer, not a replacement for humans. Pricing and availability are straightforward. Codex is included with ChatGPT Plus, Pro, Business, Education, and Enterprise. Usage scales with the plan. Plus, Education and Business cover a few focused sessions per week. Pro can handle a full work week across multiple projects. Business can buy credits to go beyond included limits. Enterprise provides a shared credit pool, so you pay for what gets used. GPT-5 Codex for the application programming interface via Codex command line interface is soon. A few name drops on current users: Cisco Meraki, Duolingo, Ramp, Vanta, Virgin Atlantic, Gap. There is a quote from Treswang Godfrey, a tech lead at Cisco Meraki. He offloaded refactoring and test generation to Codex to hit a feature deadline on a codebase owned by another team, got fully tested code back, and kept the release on schedule without adding risk. Zooming out, the coding chops are not just in marketing copy. At the International Collegiate Programming Contest World Finals 2025, an OpenAI system solved all 12 problems under standard rules. Portable document format problem set, 5-hour limit, submissions to an official judge, beating the best human teams and Google's DeepMind entry. Gemini 2.5 DeepThink reportedly solved 10 of 12 and uniquely cracked problem C that no human solved, but missed 2 others. OpenAI's system went a perfect 12 of 12. It was an ensemble of general-purpose reasoning models. GPT-5 generated correct solutions for 11 of the 12, and an internal experimental reasoning model picked submissions and personally solved the final hardest task after 9 attempts. Best human team got 11 of 12. Same family of models has already posted gold-level performance at the International Mathematical Olympiad and the International Olympiad in Informatics. And Mustafa Rohaninejad says the next milestone is systems that discover new knowledge. And on the business side, Business Insider reports OpenAI is restructuring into a for-profit public benefit corporation so it can issue traditional stock. Microsoft, which put $1 billion into OpenAI in 2019 and about $13 billion total, including a big 2023 round, is negotiating for roughly a third of the new equity. With employee secondaries valuing OpenAI around $500 billion, analysts like BNP Paribas' Stefan Slowinski peg Microsoft's stake at about 30%, worth at least $150 billion, enough to add roughly $150 billion to Microsoft's own valuation. That partnership started with unusual profit-sharing units and massive Azure credits, went through some acrimonious renegotiation, and now looks like a win-win. Microsoft locks a giant equity position. OpenAI raises on normal terms. For context, Google's $1.65 billion YouTube buy in 2006 and Facebook's $1 billion Instagram deal in 2012 each took a decade plus to show hundreds of billions scale. Microsoft's OpenAI return got there much faster. Satya Nadella, Kevin Scott, and Sam Altman are the architects behind the original deal. That is the download. If you found this useful, hit like, and I will see you in the next one.